this is an introduction to Dreamweaver CS6 and how to get started with setting up a site for the course, as well as how to go about uploading your files to the web server. You'll notice when you first open up Dreamweaver, there's this short list of quick links here, and one of which is to create an HTML file. Because this is the CS6 version, by default it's going to create you an XHTML file type. However, if we go to File and go to New, you can again click on HTML just like you would have before, except over here on the lower right side where it says doc type, we can modify this to HTML5. Okay? And we're also going to choose none for the CSS layouts. It'll come through as just a plain old blank HTML page with no assumed CSS assigned to the file. Click on Create. So on the right side of the screen is the design area. On the left side of the screen is the code area. You'll notice at the top here is where you have your choices of design only, split, and code. Okay, so I personally like the split view. The first thing that you're going to be asked to do is enter your name. So I'll type in Angela Sullivan. And then you've been given some specific instructions, possibly to insert additional text, maybe an image, etc. Now, notice to the lower right corner is where all of your files are located. And what you're seeing in the CS6 version are a bunch of yellow folders. When you see the yellow folders, this is letting you know that you're not working within a site. So if you were to change this drop-down list as an avid user of Dreamweaver, you'll see that I have many sites set up, and these are the green folders. Okay, so what I need to do is go through and create myself a new site for Dreamweaver to recognize where the pool of folder or the pool of files are going to be in which folder that they're going to be located in. So if you do, if you would, please click on Site and go down to New Site. And so this is going to be my test site. So CIS 222 class files. Okay, and my location, I'm going to choose a new location. I'm going to go to my D drive and go to 222, and I'm going to create a new folder called class files. Okay, so I'm going to double click on this new folder here. You'll notice it's empty. I obviously just created the new folder, but this is where I want to set up as my baseline, otherwise known as my root folder, for all of my files that are going to be located in my website. So I'll click on Select, and you'll see here in the local site folder it actually has assigned it to that folder that I just created. Okay. Over here on the left hand side, click on Servers. You'll need to insert a new FTP or IP address location. So this is going to be my www3 web server. It's just a generic name. It doesn't matter what I call it. It's how I can allocate whether I'm building a website for the dentist or if I'm building a website for the florist. In this case, I'm going to my www3 web server. So it's just simply a name that I can make up myself. I am going to do FTP, and my FTP address on campus is this, and my username is this. Okay, so if I were to be in a computer lab, when I start typing in my password, you'll notice that it has the check mark for save. I don't recommend that you leave it checked. I would recommend that you uncheck save, and then every time you go to upload, you'll have to enter in your password. However, that's a safe precaution in the computer lab. If you're at home, then I would recommend, oh, actually this isn't my username. So this is where I'm going to test out my password, and it says that I did successfully connect to the web server. So press the OK button. And again, if you're in the lab, uncheck this. If you're on your own PC at home or on your own laptop, then feel free to leave this checked. Don't change the root directory, don't change anything else, and then just press the Save button. Okay, and I'm going to go back to this site just to reiterate. This site, you make up this name. This isn't creating you a folder. This is just how Dreamweaver on the right hand side over here is going to show what you've chosen to be your FTP location, the www3 web server. So you could call this my silly clown file folder. It doesn't matter. There's no folder name called this. It's just how Dreamweaver is going to reference it. Okay, so now I'm all done. I'm going to press the Save button, and it gives me a heads up that I already have a site in there, which you should not put a site within a site. Okay, but because I've got so many going on right here, I've accidentally probably added a site within a site. Nonetheless, on the right side here, where I hover over. If you hover, it tells you exactly where your site folder location is located. This is the name that I gave to it, that generic name that we made up, and you'll see there's no files actually sitting inside of there. But now that I've created my site, I can now save this file that I have right here, okay? So I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to go to Modify Page Properties, and I'm going to modify the background color of my web page. Give it a subtle blue color, maybe. Ooh, no. Let's go with a nice gray. All right, so we're going to go with the blank blase gray page. And while I'm in here, I'm also going to modify my default font. I'm going to go with the Verdana, and I'm going to set the default size to 14. And I'm going to modify my font color to white, which makes me think maybe I should go with a darker gray for my background color, or darker color. It'll pop out a little bit better. All right, perfect. We went with the green with the white font, and it's 14. So what this is doing, as you see over here on the left-hand side under Appearance, and it says CSS, it's going to create for me over here on the right-hand side in my CSS panel some new CSS styles, which basically will affect all of the text that I type in. Will have a Verdana style or font at the size of 14. It will all be white, and the background of my body is going to be the green. All of this is overridable because this is the parent level, the body tag. So any H1s, H2s, H6s, any paragraphs, any class styles, any ID styles that I choose to create along the way, to change the color of the font, to change the background color, to change the font type, I can do so because those are obviously closer to the text that I'll be writing. This is just a baseline configuration. I'm going to press OK. So again, over here on the right-hand side, if you were to click on any one of these, you can see some of the different CSS rules that have been created for us. In addition, on the left-hand side, in the code area, you'll notice that the CSS has been added directly to this page. I did not tell it to apply it to a separate CSS style sheet, so therefore it automatically got added to the page. Fine for the time being. All right, so for the time being, we're going to save this as it is. We're going to File, choose Save or Save As, doesn't make a difference in this case. It's going to save it to my class files folder. I don't ever need to change this. It's going to go directly to whatever I chose as my site location. So please don't change this location here, okay? We're going to call this index. I'm going to choose to not change my save as type. I'm not going to type in .html either. By default, my configuration has been set up to saving the file as a .html file. You can change your preferences under Edit if you need to save it as ASP or ASPX or PHP or .htm. You can set those preferences, so therefore I don't have to accidentally type in .htm versus HTML, and things don't work right when you have a different file extension. So we're going to leave it as index. It's going to save it as a .html for me. Located over here on the right side in the Files panel, you'll see where it says index.html. Okay. So the next step is to upload this file to our web server. I've already plugged in the IP address, I've already given it my username, and I believe I saved my password. So I have two different ways of doing this. One is to click on this little button right here. It says Expand to show local and remote sites. So when I click on this, you'll notice on the left-hand side, it has this little plug saying, hey, 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 you need to connect. This is my local side, this is the remote side. So I'm going to click on this little button that is telling me to press, and it's going to log me in. Okay, so it logged me into my web server. The way we work over here, we already have some default files set up on our web server, so these already exist. Nonetheless, I'm going to select this index button, press the upload button. It's going to ask me if I should include any dependent files. I don't have any dependent files, such as images or external CSSs, so I don't need to press yes. I simply need to press no, but you can press yes, it won't hurt it. And now, over here on the left-hand side, it will refresh by pressing this button, and you'll see the index page with 9.1 is there, and it's the file that I just created right here. So that is how you go about uploading your files to the web server. When you're done with this view, you're going to click on the collapse, so it's not expanded anymore, and you're back to your development that you were working on over here. Okay, so any changes? Let's see, Dreamweaver CIS 222. I can take this file, once again, Control S to save, or go to File, Save. Either way, okay, I already saved it, so it's grayed out. And now you already saw what it looks like when I expanded this view. If I just leave it in this regular view panel, the file panel right here, if I click on this, I can simply use the put files, put to the remote server. It's going to give us the same message, and now it uploaded it again. And that is how you go about uploading your files to the web server. Hopefully this video was helpful and you are able to upload your files to the web server for your assignments. Have a good one.